Love you, Linda. Love you.
The courthouse the other day in the hallway, you're singing "Oh Happy Day."
One word prayer. Justice, where are you?
And welcome, Justice Serve TV is on the air. Michael Bryant here. Hello, Linda.
Hi,
How are
good
you?
evening, Michael Bryant. Yes, that's me. I'm still here, still with you, still partnered.
How was the weekend? Anything exciting?
Weekend? No, what was this weekend? No, nothing exciting. I didn't have to
Nothing?
deal with the snakes anymore. The snakes seem to have.
Oh, you got the snakes have been eradicated?
Well, I don't know if they've been eradicated, but they've left. They've left. The rent got too high.
Yeah, they had trouble with the neighbors, and so they had to move along. Okay, I did.
You know, in New York State, you cannot kill a timber rattlesnake. They're a protected species, and if you have to call the animal guy person to relocate them, they have to relocate them on your property. They're not allowed to relocate them off your property.
That's not helpful.
Because then they could bring diseases to maybe the neighbor's property. So, like if you have them, like my neighbor had one at his hot tub, and they had to relocate it down their property a bit. Okay, so you're still there.
Okay, convoluted
Just
resolution.
thought I'd mention that to you.
Sounds like New York. Yeah, sounds like a New York issue. Went to a concert on Saturday night, which was kind of interesting. It was Rob Thomas. Many might know from Matchbox 20. So it was an interesting gathering. Most of the guys in the audience looked like Wilford Brimley, but it was a nice. The guy does a fine show, and even the warm-up act was good. And it was a place in Bridgeport that's like a giant amphitheater. It was nice, very, very nice. I would recommend it. It's kind of a fun, simple outing.
Oh, terrific, great.
Holds about 6,000 people, so not too crazy.
So last week I did make my first trip inside a dispensary. I'll have to tell that story. I've learned a little bit about it, but I think I'm all the way till we have Auntie Deb on. This is the kind of story.
Why do you think Jimmy will better relate to that? Why do you think
we need a comedian in between the two of us when I tell this story? I can't wait for you, Linda in the dispensary for the first time ever. Okay,
sounds like a bad sitcom. Yeah, and I will defer to your experience. Haven't had the interest or pleasure, so I can't wait to hear that story. Was that up near the
halfway
undisclosed location?
It was a drive up to the undisclosed location. But yeah, you have to hear about it. Actually, it was pretty interesting. Of course, my husband came in to accompany me, and he decided he was taking pictures of everything. Michael.
And they're okay with that? They don't get mad
yeah,
about
they're
okay.
No, because they wanted, and I was going to post them, and I still may post them the picture of the family history. This was a boxer. The grandfather of the owners got killed, and he was actually, running liquor and stuff like that. Was a boxer. It's really interesting. So they called him Buzzsaw something or other.
Is that a new sponsor?
Maybe I don't know. Can they sponsor Buzzsaw Dispensary based after the grandfather's name, who was Buzzsaw, or maybe it was great grandfather?
A proud tradition of interesting substances.
Very, very interesting. I can't wait to talk about it.
I'm old school. So I'm thinking it's like an opium den. It's like it's just illegal opportunity.
And you can get some licenses in some states that let you have a smoking den attached to a dispensary, but not. I don't know if in New York State, but certainly not in a micro dispensary. And this was all family. They do everything. They grow their own.
It's like a microbrew for beer, but this is for cannabis.
Well, I tell you, someone says, Michelle said, do they sell cookies too? But let me just give you one quick story before we do our rip and read and get into our real show here while everyone's coming in. When I was at the poker table last couple of weeks ago, and I was with a bunch of older guys at the table. We were in that tournament they were playing. They're all talking about how they're growing their own bud, okay? And they don't mean like buddy, they mean the weed, but they're growing their own bud. And one of them says, and I've got great one that's Girl Scout cookies. And of course, I say, does it mean
mint?
that it
what is it?
Like,
Which one is
it?
it?
Does it taste like Girl Scout cookies? They looked at me like I was some kind of strange person from an alien, because they said, no, we just name it after things that taste that we like and taste good. It has nothing to do with Girl Scout cookies, and it doesn't taste like mint.
That sounds like misleading advertising to me.
So that's the story. You asked a story about cookies, I'll give you the story about cookies.
Yeah, I had a friend out in LA that was doing that on his own, and it became more than his own. And if you've qualified under the little rules they have out there, you can become a distributor. It was amazing. He started making more doing that than anything else he was doing.
Yeah, I'm sure, and it's all cash because you can't. They can't deposit in the federal banks generally. One bank now just announced they will take it, even though because it's technically illegal. And so if you pay for anything, it has to be debit card or cash. Also, no credit cards. No credit cards.
Interesting. It's like legal money laundering.
We'll have to talk to you about. They will have to talk to you about what I bought. Okay.
Oh, when you were at the store.
I had a story. I had to have a story out of this. All right.
Okay. So save that for Jimmy. I'm sure Jimmy will be maybe able to tell us about his experience. Okay. All right, we got a little rip and read here before we get into. We're going Adelson all day, every day, obviously up until the trial. This time next week, I'll be down there. Jury selection begins tomorrow. We've said that before. We said that last September. And then there was that little issue with the conflict on the day jury selection was supposed to begin. We don't think there's going to be that issue. We think they are ready to roll, but that doesn't mean there aren't last-minute things taking place. I'll get to that in a second. YSL. Remember the paperwork battle over Jeffrey Williams, Young Thug's property, the forfeiture, the civil forfeiture. And again, it looks weird because the case law is set up like Jeffrey Williams versus $200,000 cash. Jeffrey Williams versus his car. Jeffrey Williams versus his Richard Mille watch, right? That's the property action. Well, there was a hearing today, Brian Steele handling the matter for Jeffrey Young Thug Williams, as he has, and they won. They won at least temporarily.
Judge Whitaker.
They got the case. Yeah, that's right. And again, nice to have her in the mix, right? Because she knows, Paige Whitaker knows all of the stuff, good and bad, happening that has happened in this case. So it was a screw up by Fulton County DA. Shocker, because they let the time lapse. You have to file a response within 60 days of the action being addressed. It had been filed earlier, but then it was told because, there was a case underway. But that tolling ended in April. They had till June 12th, I think it was, to do something. That is the DA. They did nothing. So the action against the property has now been dismissed, meaning the property is supposed to be turned back over to Jeffrey Williams. Will it? DA has the opportunity to appeal that decision. Maybe they will because it's Fulton County and they're just jerks. Or maybe they'll actually do the right thing and give the guy his stuff back.
Well, the argument appeal is going to be Brian Steele said he had a conflict because he was being arrested or something like that. Remember that little incident in court, right? And put in jail.
Ashley Merchant, come on down.
Come on down, right? And therefore, they said, well, then it was clearly we weren't supposed to file anything. No, not clearly, but of course they're going to try it anyhow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so embarrassing at this point. Just cut your losses and move on. They're just going to prolong the agony because the appeal would be a loser. All it would do would allow them to keep the stuff longer, and that's just so spiteful and so petty and so like Fulton County. So we'll see if they do
where is the Richard Mille watch?
Yeah, that's not even part of the mix. It just vanished into thin air somehow. Those $1 million watches, that happens.
That happens. Okay, so Kevin Stein, remember him? He is the sheriff who shot the judge. I shot the sheriff. No, I shot the judge in front of the cameras with everybody. There's a question about maybe there was some sexual abuse going on. That's what's been raised. But he's back in court seeking a number of things, including bail again, on the basis that, look, he's been a sheriff for all this time and he's never been in trouble. And, he's not going to flee. He's not a danger to anybody else unless somebody else is maybe assaulting his loved ones. Okay. And therefore you can give him bail. All right. And then I have to tell you what happened is the coverage cut out. All right. So I assume that wasn't decided today. And if it was decided, you'll all tell me whether he got bail. I doubt it.
So the feed just died? That was it?
It just all of a sudden cut out and I didn't have any feed. And I don't know whether it was just me or whatever. So, okay. So anyhow, anyhow, just want to let you know he was back in court. And then the second case I got involved in, before we go back to you, was this case that everyone's watching, Wolfenberger, I should say. And that's where this man is accused of killing if you recall, his 21-year-old wife, Melissa, back in 1998. Now, not as old as the case that we're going to talk to you about, that we're going to have ready for you come after Labor Day, who killed, as you know, Stephanie. Melissa was the daughter of what makes it a convicted serial killer. She never really knew initially her father, when growing up, was a serial killer, a Flint, Michigan River serial killer. But he was in custody at the time that Melissa had died, so he really couldn't be into it. Well, her remains had been misidentified as a male because the skull was in a bag, and some medical examiner or forensic anthropologist, I don't know who, said it was a male head, so they weren't looking for
50-50
anybody
chance.
missing. Yeah, right, 50-50 chance. Maybe it's 60-40 these days, or whatever. But then they were positively identified in 2003. Actually, what happened is the mother of the victim, who also came to one of Cheryl McCullum's that we've had on crime parties, Wine and Crime.
Mac.
Mac, right, and said, my daughter was beheaded. I need your help. And so this ended up being that the Christian husband got arrested. So there's a real question whether he's the one or whether it was a boyfriend who was supposedly the last one to see her. The remains were found outside where Mr. Wolfenberger works. That's always a little bit of a problem, right? But when I was listening today, a couple of things. One, the hair on the skull didn't match the defendant. In other words, none of the trace match evidence that was found on the matched the defendant. On the skull matched the defendant. Okay. All right, and then there was an issue of a video of the dog carrying the body back.
Yes, carrying the head away, and then the video disappeared.
The video reports and never disclosed to the defense. So there's all these issues going on. And then the lead detective was on the stand initially, just like under the direct, he sounded really good. And when he get to cross, he didn't sound so good. So very interesting case. Our friend Katnott Williams is covering it if you want to watch it during the day, because there's not really a great trial aside from this, maybe to watch. And you'll get involved in it because it is interesting because it has all these twists and turns.
Yeah, it's interesting. She had obviously the Casotas case, which we covered, but she was there all day, every day. Weird case. This is a weird case. It could be Kat, not Williams. Could be her.
I don't know if she's in our chat tonight, but
I want to blame her for these weird cases.
I stayed in the chat and I just was listening as I was working. Listening to the cases I was working. But interesting case, but not the one that we're going to be covering.
No, it's not.
From morning, noon,
and speaking of working, I'm going to blame and credit Jimmy, Auntie Deb, for part of what we're going to see tonight. But before we get to that, a couple of updates on the Adelson case. There was a hearing again today having to do with the defense subpoena. They wanted to subpoena Wendy Adelson, and they were concerned that because of the immunity that's attached from the prosecution, that it was going to interfere with or affect their right, Sixth Amendment right to cross-examine witnesses. And it is, because the judge basically relied upon the prior Judge Wheeler ruling that said, you'll be limited. I'm quashing that subpoena. You're going to be limited to what the direct examination covers. That may be right for appeal because it happened the first time in the Catherine. Well, it happened first time in the Catherine Magbenois case, and I got so much on the Magbenois thing. I am so annoyed that I've wrapped my head around this. But I got the Philippine pronunciation. I have it here on audio somewhere. I'll play it. Also, the derivation of the name. Benoit.
Because every time you do it, everyone
I know.
That's how she pronounces it.
I love that. Catherine Magbenois from the Philippines. Benoit, the second part of the name. First of all, it is pronounced like Benwa. Benoit. It has to do with a region. And the first part of her name, Mag, has to do with representative of that region. It's fascinating. Anyway, so during her trial, they made a similar motion to quash.
This is like... Don't F around with Justice Serves TV, okay? That's what this
I'm
is.
embarrassed that I've taken so much time to defend my pronunciation, but that's me. So anyway, in her case, it was not an issue. Imagine the cross-examination of Wendy Adelson in the Catherine Magbenois case versus the Donna Adelson case. Very different. Mother-daughter versus girlfriend of the brother, it just very different. And it was easy, according to the defense, for the judge in that case to say, look, that we're quashing this. I think it leads to the possibility for a better appellate argument in this case because the mother-daughter relationship is very different than it was in the Katie case prior. So we'll see. Anyway, it's been quashed. That's the latest. Then they went into super secret double probation hearing, shut the cameras off. They had an in-camera discussion apparently about this investigation they've alluded to, which we believe has to do with a possible snitch in jail talking to Donna Adelson. And I guess the question is going to be, what was the nature of the discussion? Was this person an agent of the state? You know how that works, LKB. If she was in there at the initiation of the state, to the point he or she, I'm guessing it's a she, is an agent, then that could be a violation of that constitutional right. So maybe if it's
and what else? Snitches are one of the primary causes for wrongful convictions, allowing in what we call incentivized testimony.
Yeah, and it's
always informants.
Always attacked, obviously, but look how many cases in which it has been successful. You know, even when the person's been attacked, jury believes them; they believe them. So in this case, it's unknown whether or not the person will testify, or to what degree they were an agent of the state. Maybe 0, maybe 100%. If you're just sharing a jail cell with somebody and they just start yapping, right? The person starts confessing and saying things, and you're just sitting there like a sponge soaking it up. That's clean. That's nice. But if you were placed in there, if you were asked to initiate discussions, anything that taints that confession makes it less likely to be admissible. So we'll see. They had a super secret hearing on that earlier today, and we don't know what that is. Okay.
And while you're teeing up what we're going to do, let me just thank Kay Schmidt for the Justice Served 5 TV gift.
Thank you, Kay
which
Schmidt.
I think we've already distributed. Joey Kane. Okay, it wouldn't be a Justice Served TV night without Joey
That's
Kane.
right. And
One.
That
2.
reminds me of what I've forgotten to do. That's all
What?
I'm going to say. But it involves Joey Kane and 2
Okay.
others. Something
Okay.
that I have to do.
Right.
We've already announced that we've done something, right? But I
Right.
haven't completed the process. I need to
Right.
complete the process.
Right.
Anyway, so
anyhow, yeah. So we've got a lot. We have a lot going on here, but you will next week be down in Florida for the Adelson case in the courtroom for 4 days.
Yep.
And we'll be streaming it with or without. We're not sure we'll have commentary. We might just have a stream.
I think it's going to be in and out depending on what's happening, and
Michael's going to be there, right? And he may not, and he may just come out and do different hits. And I don't mean of something that you get from a dispensary.
You're totally you've gone totally down that rabbit hole now. Yeah, I guarantee you that kind of hit will not be because I'm just a choir boy, and that it ain't happened yet. It ain't happening. So yeah, and so we'll see. You know, I talked to Isaac again. He's the guy running the court down there. He's the logistics dude. Still, don't worry about any rooms, any. You know, it's fine. I told him when we're going to be there. They're so loose about the whole thing. I'm just kind of crossing my fingers that it doesn't blow up, that they get a bigger response than maybe they anticipated the last time around a year ago.
Yeah.
So
is Michael? Somebody asked if we're streaming jury selection, which starts on the 19th,
yeah,
which was tomorrow.
Tomorrow, they're not allowing that.
Right.
Yeah. So, but as a kind of a deep tease for tomorrow, Michael Easter will be back on, and we're going to talk about the bump and some other of the FBI issues in this case, in all of the cases. That have become so important. The bump never more important than in the Donna Adelson case. So
yeah,
Michael Easter
Tuesday. We can't wait to have him back on. Yeah. We had Easter Monday. We had Easter eggs. Now we have Easter Tuesday. We have Daddy Easter. We have Michael Easter is so popular. We have little baby Easter. In the meantime,
I'm going to dig that up because we'll have to play that again.
Yeah, you love him, so he's going to be great. In the meantime, could you hit that subscribe, like, share, and notify channel before we get into our discussion about Donna, or as some people are now calling her, Jimmy, my Donna. You know?
Is that what he's calling her, my Donna?
Yeah, as opposed to Mad Donna.
Okay. I see. I've gone with Mama Donna, but yeah. So what we thought we would do today. We've been told that she will take the stand. Of course, that's always kind of subject to day, as the trial is a living, breathing thing. So, you know, maybe that's what they're saying now because it affects certain pretrial motions. Who knows? But she did take the stand a few months ago when she was complaining and filed a motion about her treatment in jail. So we thought we would get back into that just to get a feel for not so much what she's complaining about, but it's such an interesting dynamic when you see her talking about her new life, which at least for the moment is her life in jail. She has been moved since from Leon County jail to, I guess, a more civilized place. But she was having a rough time. And I think, here's what I think is interesting. she'd have a rough time if she was at my house, compared to her normal life. So, my house would be tough enough. What, you have only how many toilets? Where's my bathroom? So now she's in a little more exaggerated problem location. And she was seriously scared. She was threatened. She said she was assaulted. She was blackmailed.
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
It's
so, most of my female jail experience is TV shows, like Orange is the New Black, right? So much happens apparently in these bathrooms.
Oh, yeah.
I have no frame of reference.
But her defense attorney said she's taking the stand. So let's get a little bit of a shall we say, a little bit of a primer.
Just give a little, just a reminder as to what she might be like when she does take the stand.
Oops. Let me turn off my. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that sounds nasty. Let's see if I can fix that.
Ms. Adelson, at the commencement of the hearing on the motion to suppress, you said your name for the record, Donna Adelson. Can you tell the court how many times prior to your arrest for the charges that are pending in this case have you been arrested for criminal offenses?
Never.
And how long have you been incarcerated at the Leon County Detention Facility? Do you recall?
15 and a half months, 470 days.
And within that period of time, the 470 days, have you been held in the same location in the Leon County Detention Facility or different locations?
Different locations.
Okay, and your first location was where?
First location was in solitary confinement on a direct observation unit.
Do you know how long you were there?
50 days.
Okay. And where did you go following solitary?
To the N pod, like N is in November. It's an open pod, general population.
What does that mean? Open pod, general?
Let me ask you this. Would you rather be in solitary or Gen Pop if you had to be incarcerated?
That's a really thing. I think I'd rather be in the Gen Pop.
I think I would too. I mean, assuming nobody's going to molest me or shoot me or kill me. But yeah, I mean, solitary for 50 days. I mean, that's especially for.
But she's learned an awful lot about where she is very quickly, hasn't she?
Oh yeah. Well, what else you got to do?
400 and some days.
Yeah. I mean, talk about counting the days.
Population.
So I was with 60 some odd other inmates, all in one open area.
And you had beds in your room, I assume?
There were each sections off about 10 women. So, and there'd be a cement wall, and then there'd be another 10 women and a cement wall. So it was fairly quiet, actually, even with that many women, because we were separated in small groups, so it wasn't that loud.
Okay, and do you recall when you were taken out of the inn like Nancy pod?
Yes, in August, they said they had maintenance to do and that we would be moved to the annex, which is a building outside of the jail.
Okay, and so I'm not going to be specific as to dates, but you were arrested in November of 2023 in solitary confinement for 50 days to whatever date that took you to.
January 9th.
Okay, and then from January 9th all the way through some date in August of 2024.
Correct.
You were in the inn like Nancy pod. And then you said you were transferred to the annex. Can you describe the conditions inside the annex, please?
So the annex is kind of a temporary type building. It's not a brick building. It's kind of like a temporary building, and it's and there are 66 women, all in bunk beds, all open. You're kind of one on top of the next. There's no separation at all.
So one big open room.
One big open room with 66 beds. Yes.
Okay. And how long did you stay? So from August of 2024 until when? How long did you stay in the annex?
I was moved again on February 3rd, 2025.
Okay. And you were here when the gentleman was testifying about the call buttons to alert someone if you're having a medical emergency. Was there one of those in the inn pod?
No.
Was there one in the annex?
No.
Okay. I'd like to start the motion for a bond that we filed in this case, as the court indicated earlier. One of the issues that we have raised are medical conditions that you're facing. So I'd like to start with your medical conditions and present some testimony to the court about those. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We're not going to go over every medical condition you've had since you've been incarcerated in the jail, but I'd like to start with one that you have that's causing you some pain in your leg and back area.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just start with this. Can you describe to the court the kind of pain and discomfort that you're having with this particular injury or issue?
Yeah, I know what it is because I've had it in the past. It's sciatic pain, and I get like a pulling kind of shooting pain down my legs.
Okay. And you said you've had it in the past. You mean prior to becoming
That's
incarcerated?
nothing
Yes.
like being shot in the head. Okay, I'm sorry. That's
yeah,
what I'm thinking, and I'm not thinking like the lawyer here, her lawyer. I'm thinking like sciatic pain versus being shot, executed in the head.
Well,
Not comparable.
I'll think like the lawyer then for a second. She's not
Okay.
guilty of anything at this point, right?
That's true.
She's just a
presumed
suspect.
innocent,
She's
right?
just incarcerated, waiting on the trial. I hear stuff about backs, and I always relate to that because I had my back thing forever and still do. I had surgery about 3 years ago, and it's definitely better. But once you get a back thing, you got a back thing. I'm not sure how it would do on the bunks, the 66 women in the annex. I can't imagine that's all that cushy. And so when we start hearing about these kinds of things, the tear is she guilty? So who cares? Is she innocent? So, wow, that's pretty rough on somebody that hasn't been proven guilty of anything. Where do you think the public comes down on that?
Or do you think, look, I've had a lot of people that I've seen, the clients of friends of mine, clients who've had terrible situations in jail and can't get medical care, can't get the proper medical care. And having sciatica and not getting proper medical care, unless you're about to become paralyzed, unless you get a surgery right away, doesn't do it for me, considering the clients I've had that had major problems.
Yeah.
So that's how I come down on it.
And she's, those are just the beginning of some of her issues.
And during the course of time before you were incarcerated at the Leon County Jail, did you seek treatment for that condition?
Yes, I did.
And what type of treatment did you obtain for that?
So I saw my orthopedist, and he gave me a steroid injection in my spine.
Okay.
5
How
times I
long
did that.
Were you suffering from the sciatic condition prior to becoming incarcerated?
How long the last episode was?
Before you were incarcerated in jail, for how many years had you been suffering with the sciatic issue?
So no, I had it last about 10 years ago. I haven't had it all this time.
Okay.
But then it recurred a few months ago.
Okay. And what was the treatment that you were provided prior to your incarceration for your sciatic condition?
It was the steroid injection, and within 48 hours, it was gone. The pain was gone. It was amazing.
And where did they do the steroid injection? Where's that in your body?
In my spine.
In your spine. Okay. Is that an outpatient procedure, inpatient?
Yes, outpatient.
Outpatient. Okay. All right. And during the course of time that you've been in the Leon County Jail, did you start to experience the sciatic pain again?
Yes, it did.
And what did you do when you started to experience that pain?
I wrote a sick call, and I went to see the doctor.
Okay. Where do you get these sick call forms from?
From the nurse.
Okay. And when do you have the opportunity to see a nurse to get the sick call forms?
Well, they come twice a day. They come in the morning and they come in the evening.
Okay. And we'll get to what those times are at a later point. But if you don't get a form from a nurse, is there another way to obtain it that you're aware of?
No, that's the only way I've ever gotten it is from a nurse.
Okay. Do you recall approximately how far into your incarceration you started having the sciatic issues again?
I didn't have it until I was in the annex. So that was sometime over the last, I've been there 6 months. I don't remember the specific date, but I didn't have it before the annex.
Okay. And once you started experiencing it in the annex, did you complete a form to see medical attention?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And as a result of completing that form, did you have an opportunity to meet with someone in the medical center at the Leon County Jail?
I saw the doctor there.
And
Yes.
what happened?
And I explained what I had, and she said, we do not treat that type of problem. We could offer you some Tylenol.
And did they provide you with Tylenol?
They did.
And has that relieved you of the pain that you suffer?
No, it's Tylenol. It's not gonna do what I need to have done, no.
Okay. So sometime since you've been in the annex, you made your first request for treatment for the sciatic issue. Have you requested treatment more than once?
Yes.
Okay. And have you received any additional opportunities to meet with any of the medical staff regarding this pain?
No.
What happens when you request treatment and you don't get to see them? Do they tell you that you're not going to be allowed to see them again? What happens?
No. I wait a week, and if I don't hear anything, then I'll write another one, and I'll write, this is a second request, or this is a third request. And then I think they said I think I got an answer. They sometimes just answer it and give it to the pod officer, and she'll hand out papers at night, which is the response to your requests. And on that one, they said, you're already getting pain medication for this. That was the Tylenol,
And the pain medication is just regular Tylenol?
regular Tylenol.
Okay. At some point, did you have an opportunity to speak to someone in medical care regarding potential way to resolve some of the pressure in your leg for use of a medical mattress?
Yes.
Did she just have like a twinge or something? Did you see that?
Yeah, that's what she just
Like
showed it.
something just kicked
And
in?
look,
Why
anyone
don't
who's
they
got
give her?
sciatica-
Yeah, it can be like, a lightning bolt, zap
Yeah,
the leg.
it can be. I mean, no one is making fun of anybody who has sciatica.
Why don't they give her ibuprofen, which is at least an NSAID?
That's the
the
Advil. The
Yeah,
Advil?
no,
Yeah, Advil.
yeah, Advil, ibuprofen,
Advil
which
right,
is
'cause
an
it has,
NSAID.
I don't know,
That's
because it has a bit of, right,
non-steroidal anti-inflammatory.
right.
But
Which really
Tylenol is not.
right. I don't know why they don't do that, because really that's what she should
It's
be
not going to
getting.
help. Still not going to help. But at least theoretically, it's an anti-inflammatory. And
Yeah,
that's
well,
what you need.
theoretically, if you build it up, right, you build every 6 hours you're taking it, and you build up that anti-inflammatory, it should help, unless you need surgery, and that's a whole different story.
Or you can give her some prednisone for a while. You can't take that over long periods, but that's a quick fix to at least, maybe help you recover more
I
naturally.
think what will happen is if she had a regular doctor and they were ordering these things, as these were like a life-threatening, she has to have it, then you have to go get motion, or you have to go to the sheriff and get it approved, and then she has to go into the infirmary all the time to get it. But that would have to be improved first as to whether or not this is really necessary. And also there is, there's ways. I mean, look at Harvey Weinstein. I know we have a question. Yeah. I know we have a question from a Deer Beach caregiver on Harvey Weinstein. So, as I mentioned about the Weinstein trial, never seen victim statements have to take the oath. Well, you just give me Madeira Beach. We'll answer that later, but you give me the lead in, which is he got treated and was being treated for a lot of different conditions.
Yeah, cancer.
Both in jail and then sent to the hospital when they couldn't treat in jail, Madeira Beach. Yeah, I don't know about that. I've never seen victim statements have to take the oath either, but that was a good lead into answering that question.
It's interesting too. Yeah, and obviously part of this hearing was a bond hearing. They wanted her to be out of jail, and beyond that, we get into the assault, a few other things. I've moved ahead just a bit to what the next complaint is, which I think is the shoulder and how that happened.
All right, Doug Weinstein's case. Sorry, Madeira Beach. I've never seen that either.
Oh.
And describe to the court what that problem is, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing.
Okay, so I have like shooting pain from the top here of my shoulder down the outside of my arm into my forearm.
Okay, and you're pointing to your left arm. Is that the one you're referring to?
It's my left arm.
Okay, and so shooting pain down the arm. Anything into your hands?
Yeah, the pain is like. It's like hot. It's like a burning pain, and my thumb, index, and middle finger have gotten like tingling. It almost feels like ants are crawling on them. It's like a numbness of those fingers.
Okay. And is this pain that you were experiencing prior to your incarceration at Leon County Jail?
No.
Okay. About when did this pain begin?
So I was assaulted by another inmate while I was here. The beginning of October.
October 2024?
Yes.
And when you say here, do you mean the Leon County Jail?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Since you began experiencing that pain, since October of 2024, have you requested medical treatment?
Yes,
And what has the response been?
they said they would take an x-ray, but in the meantime, I could have Tylenol.
Okay. And you said that was in approximately October of 2024. Have you been requesting treatment for that pain since October of 2024?
Several times.
Okay. And you heard the testimony of the gentleman previously. At some point, did they do an x-ray on your arm?
Yes,
And when was that?
it might have been February 3rd. No, that's the day I moved. It's shortly after February 3rd. I don't know the date.
Was it after you were removed and placed in protective custody?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Is the Tylenol helped with the pain that you're experiencing?
No.
After they performed the x-ray, were you called back into the medical unit?
It was for another reason, but they did call me and they told me that that the x-ray showed no fracture.
Okay, no fracture, that's what they were looking for.
That's what they were looking for.
Did they offer any type of physical therapy for your shoulder, anything at all?
No, I asked if they could do anything for it and they said no.
Okay.
Tylenol.
The miracle drug, Tylenol.
All right. Do you
No.
have any other medical conditions that you wanted us to address in the bond hearing that you're suffering from?
So I have a hearing issue.
Okay.
I have a problem. I evidently have very narrow ear canals, and so get the wax builds up in my ears to
Okay, as fascinating as the buildup of the wax might be, she talks about the shoulder injury from an assault. Seems to me that's
Right.
you should lead with that.
That's right, exactly.
And we haven't even gotten to the real details. It was kind of in passing. How did you hurt your shoulder? Well, I was assaulted. Okay, well, did you get Tylenol? I mean, so I know we're going to circle back to it, but it seems to me you got to lead with
That would have been right. I mean, that's burying the
I
lead.
mean, I have officers that say to me, "Are you deaf, Adelson?" When I don't respond to them, it's because I don't hear them. And so
Well, she hears
I
that.
did ask for help in the, I asked the doctor if there was anything they could do for me, and I told her what's normally done, and she said, we use Debrox to soften the wax, and then you come down 3 or 4 days later, and we use a bulb syringe to remove it. And I said, that doesn't work. I need a different procedure. And she said, that's all we can do for you.
Okay. And did you know, based on your prior treatment before you came into the Leon County Jail, that it required something other than the flushing system?
Yes, I did know.
Do you recall the name of the doctor that you saw for this condition?
Yes, I've seen him for years. Dr. Molina.
Okay. And Dr. Molino, how long do you think that you saw him for this condition prior to your incarceration?
I mean, several years,
Okay.
4 years, 5 years, I don't know.
Okay. And during the course of his treatment for you, how often would you go to have the wax removed from your small ear canals?
Yeah, every 3 to 4 months. If I waited longer than that, I couldn't hear.
Okay. And did he use a flushing method or did he do something different?
No.
What did he do?
He used some kind of, I don't know what it's called, but it's some kind of an electronic device that he puts one end in my ear, and he's able to remove the wax using that device, that
Okay.
medical device.
And in your experience prior to incarceration, when you were having that procedure done, did your hearing improve?
Immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, immediately.
May I approach the witness, Sean?
You may.
So here, wait a second. The thing about it is that there's different procedures to remove the wax. She doesn't like the old-fashioned one where they,
She doesn't.
like
It's not
when you're a
good enough.
kid.
It's not good enough.
It
I'm sure if you
doesn't
could see
work.
the bill for the electronic blah blah blah, it's like 5 times as much, but
Right.
that's all right.
And,
it-
right, and you don't even know whether or not it really is
It is
working or she's
exactly
feeling like it's working.
Yeah, and you know, as you watch this hearing, I don't get the feeling anybody's raising their voice, you know, to get to you know get her
Talk to
responsive.
her.
It sounds
Right,
like a
right.
conversational tone.
Well, she said that the officers will say, "Are you deaf?" Right? And she said, "Yeah." Well,
Yeah.
then she heard them saying that to her. Madeira Beach. Yeah, we understood from the second comment. No, I've never seen that either. But it makes sense. Any statement before the court should be
Yeah.
truthful and therefore
That way it
people
just gives
understand.
the court at least, the belief that what you're saying is not made up to help
As
whatever side you're
opposed
arguing
to,
about.
but you can then take the oath like we're seeing now, and many people will say, "Oh, I don't believe this woman, and she took the oath."
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It doesn't mean you're going to believe them, but at least it makes it sound like they're not going to outright lie, but some people do.
Hmm.
Mrs. Adelson, I've shown you what the defense has marked as Defense Exhibit 1 for purposes of this hearing. And it's a report from Dr. Molina, your doctor. Could you review that just to yourself for a moment?
He's the earwax expert, known far and wide for his ability to get the earwax
Does that
out.
describe the treatment that he was providing to you?
Yes,
Okay, and it includes a recommendation that you continue to receive the same treatment, potentially with another ENT in Tallahassee, is that correct?
yes.
Okay, this time the defense would offer Defense Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Any objection as to defense 1?
No, sir.
Defense 1 is admitted. You may.
So that's, you call the doctor, hey, I need a note. It says I need this. He does the note. Now that's in evidence. I'm surprised they made her
That you have,
keep the
without
cuffs
disclosing
on,
any of the
'cause-
conversations, of course, but during
Well,
the course
not
of the time that you
jury.
have met with
No, I'm sure it's
counsel,
procedure, but
at the jail, have you had difficulty hearing us while we're trying to discuss your case with us?
Yes. I
And what
do.
about over the telephone? Are you experiencing difficulty hearing us in that way?
Yeah, the telephone is a problem.
So the lawyer's
you
basically
actually gotten in
vouching
trouble
for her. By the way, the lawyer's vouching for that. We have trouble communicating with her. She can't hear over the phone. And
Of
look,
course.
it's not surprising. She's getting older. Everybody in the
She's
United
74.
States is going to have hearing problems. Your hearing of the tones that you hear
Mhm.
changes as you get older. I mean, it's simple as that. You can't
Yeah.
hear some of the tones you could hear when you were younger. So
and you just throw some wax in the mix, and there, you got problems.
Some of the guards at the jail because they've instructed you to do something and you weren't able to hear them.
Yes,
Has that happened on more than one occasion?
it happens on several occasions.
And have you experienced over the course of your incarceration that your hearing is getting worse and worse?
Oh, yeah.
All right. This is not a significant, I'm going to move on to something else now. And this is not a significant injury, but I did want to address this with respect to the type of medical care that you are getting at the jail. Did something happen to you recently where you cut your arm?
Yes.
Okay. Tell the court what happened, please.
So I was walking past the washing machine on my way to the restroom, and I bumped into there's like a metal bracket that holds the washing machine in place, I guess, and it was my fault. I bumped into it.
And what happened?
So I cut my arm pretty badly.
Okay, do you think that's what really happened? Or was she assaulted,
she's not,
shivved,
and she's not
and
telling.
doesn't want to say anything?
Right.
You hear all these stories about, it was my fault,
Right.
it just sounds like almost in a domestic violence sense, right? Where the partner who's been the victim of, my fault, I shouldn't have, whatever. So I don't know what really happened. If she didn't talk about the assault in the bathroom so openly, I might think, maybe this was also an assault. And I'm still kind of on the fence on this one.
So what did you do after you cut your arm?
So timing was it's kind of interesting because the med nurse was there doing morning meds. So I got onto the bleeding wouldn't stop. It was just pouring out. And so I figured I'll get on the line with the other girls and I'll speak to the med nurse. So I waited my turn and I got to the med nurse and she says, "Whoa, what happened to you?" And I said, "My fault. I just bumped into the washing machine and I cut myself." So she looked at it and she said, "Yeah, that's a problem." I said, "Yeah, can I get a Band-Aid or gauze or something, some antibiotic cream?" She said, "Yeah, I don't have any antibiotic cream and I don't have a Band-Aid." So I looked at her and I said, "Well, what should I do?" She said, "Well, why don't you use your toilet paper and put it on there. I said, but it's gushing. I can't put toilet paper on there. So one of the girls saw me and she said, oh my God. And she came running over and she opens up a sanitary napkin and she put it on there so that it was filling the sanitary napkin with blood. And so another girl came over, she took the bloodied one away and she gave me hers too. And I was applying that. So I said to the nurse again, I'm not going to be able to stop it holding this. Isn't there something you can do? She says, the best I could offer you would be to fill out a medical request form. So I said, want me to do that now? She said, yes. I said, okay, can I have a medical request form? She says, oh, I don't have any. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? And she said, I don't know what to tell you. She said, maybe the night nurse will have that.
Okay, so this was
Actually, can I
just
stop
a
you?
couple of days before.
The other inmates who she refers to as girls were trying to help her, and that's actually very interesting because you have all these high pressure things when you bleed now. What they are, and even the military has them, are these like high pressure gauze pads, and they put in the wound, and it actually stops it, the pressure, and takes out the blood and stops it. And when you pull them out, there's an issue. So they were pretty savvy in trying to help her.
Yeah, and it was nice.
Right.
I have no problem with that. I am reminded as to why another reason I cannot go to jail, because I need my Neosporin cream, my ointment, because I got cuts every day. I have cuts, and I'm doing
Well,
stuff.
that's because you're doing chainsaws and remodeling bathrooms.
I'm out there. Same thing with my back. When the doctor did the surgery, I said, Doc, I'm not getting the surgery to sit on the couch. Okay, so I'm going to be testing your work here. But yeah, I got to have everywhere, my desk, my briefcase. I got Neosporin everywhere.
You'd be like Wendy Adelson. We'd be listening to why you need to have bail because you have to have all this shit.
Or somebody's going to have to smuggle me some Neosporin in a cake or something.
Well, wait a second. We refer to, Madonna there, who's sitting there, hasn't had her hair dyed, hasn't had her roots done, hasn't had, here's my new batch of my Loglo that I'm making, that we talk about, with Jimmy. We haven't had a chance to put her, probably.
Wait a sec. I got to see what you're working on there.
Yeah, this is, remember I said to you, it's out of different packaging. Now we're working on packaging. So, poor, as Jimmy would call her, Madonna Adelson, she hasn't had a chance to get her facials and get the lips.
Well, I know it's a hardship.
Jail is a hard thing.
I get that. Yeah, and if you're truly innocent, I get it. That it seems harsh and inappropriate. So until proven guilty, here she is struggling. And I looked at, her hair is kind of pulled back. And this was a few months ago. We looked at her the other day, and just the very end of her hair still had what looked like the blondish color, right? And I was trying to do the math. I think even a few months ago, she still had a little something left there. So either that's a very tenacious hair color that's hanging in there, or something. But even that little bun you can see has a little bit of the blondish look to it.
You were transferred to protective custody, correct?
Correct.
Okay, do you recall that it was on Saturday, the 1st of February?
It was a Saturday morning, yes.
Okay. And so about what time of morning would this have been if this was the morning med nurse?
It could have been 9 or 10, somewhere in the morning.
Okay, and when she told you that she didn't have any sick call forms for you to request a Band-Aid and you would need to get it from the night nurse, approximately what time does the night nurse come?
So the night nurse comes anywhere from 11:30 to 2:30 in the morning.
11:30 p.m. to what time?
2:30 a.m.
To 2:30 a.m.
Right.
And in the meantime, you were supposed to use the feminine pads?
I called my husband. He told me to elevate my arm, to wash it, to try to wash it frequently, just to keep my arm up. And that's what I did. And one girl brought over toilet paper, but that was sticking to the wound, so that wasn't good. So I kept borrowing sanitary pads to hold it.
Okay, and at some point, did the night nurse come?
Yes, she came that night.
Okay, and what happened when she got there?
She didn't have a Band-Aid either.
Okay.
She didn't have antibiotic ointment either. And I said, this has been going on since early this morning.
Judge, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just turned around and noticed that some of the state's witnesses have re-entered the courtroom. We had previously invoked the rule for the bond proceeding.
All right. And for anyone who is here to testify concerning bond, please step outside the courtroom. Ms. Dugan, is any witness you're intending to call currently in the courtroom?
I don't see any. I'm calling Miss Wilson and Deputy Collins.
Please continue with your examination, Ms. Fulford.
Thank you. So the night nurse came and the night nurse didn't have a Band-Aid either.
No antibiotic, no Band-Aid, and no, the form that I was told to ask her for, the sick call form. She said, I don't have them. We haven't had them in a while.
The night nurse.
The night nurse.
So how are you supposed to request, according to the night nurse then, how are you supposed to request assistance?
So I was actually fortunate because there was a sergeant with the night nurse. She accompanies the nurse when she comes there. And she took a look at what I looked like, and the night nurse said, yeah, that's a problem. And so the sergeant said, I'm going to make sure you get a Band-Aid, and I'm going to make sure you get a form. You'll get it by tomorrow. When I go back with the night nurse, she said, I'll run some off on the machine, some copies, and I'm going to make sure that you get it.
And did she?
The next morning.
Okay.
The next.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't care what you think about Donna Adelson. That is, if all of this is true about the paperwork and getting it, that's ridiculous.
I believe it from what I've seen.
Nobody should have to
Yes.
deal with that, whether they're
Right.
as guilty as sin or as innocent as the driven snow.
Right.
Figure it out. I am a little concerned too that a Band-Aid is going to help when we're hearing this. I'm surprised she didn't pass out from blood loss based on her description of how much blood she's losing. But here, 2 days later, she can't even get a Band-Aid. And another reason I can't do jail: single-ply toilet paper. I can't do that. I'm beyond that. As I got to be a grown-up, no more single-ply for me. It's double-ply only. So if she had
Donna Adelson has done to us.
if she had double-ply, it would have been better on that wound. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
look at what Donna Adelson is doing to us. Okay, what else? How about the jail assault, which is what
I know.
thought
I'm
was
going to try and
the
I'm
main
going to get to that before bedtime.
But this is what happens. So people should know. And in fairness to what's going on in jails and prisons, all these things, the medical care is awful. All right. I mean, we see people die. We see people bring cases to the courts. We've seen people with toothaches and infections that end up dying. They can't get treatment. And the question is whether that was a violation of the 8th Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment. It happens.
It does. It does. And I'd love to go on with this forever, but I got something else I want to use, and I have a hard out tonight because I have softball.
That's right.
But let's get to this.
The first incident that took place in the shower, could you just briefly describe to the judge what happened there?
Yeah, so I always, there's 7 shower heads, but I always take the same one because it's off in a corner, so I have a little bit more privacy than you'd have at the other ones. And so I would always shower there, and I was under the shower and I was washing my hair, and I was the only one in the shower. I always go in early morning because there's nobody there. Most of the girls sleep. So I take a shower and I have a little privacy. And so I was washing my hair, and all of a sudden I felt a hand go up my back, like from the top of my butt up my back. And I yelled, stop it. And I turned, and this girl said, you like it? And I said, get out of here. And I started to scream, and she ran.
Okay. In the bathroom there, what was this? Which pod was this in?
It's in the annex.
In the annex. Okay. In the annex, are there guards positioned inside the area where you shower?
No,
Inside the area where you use the restroom?
no.
Okay. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is what transpired in October of, thank you, October of 2024, where you had said previously you were attacked. What were you doing? Where were you at, first of all, when that took place?
in October. So I was in the bathroom. It's 10:30 at night. I went in to brush my teeth.
Okay.
There are three sink stations in the bathroom. Each one has 4 sinks. And I was at the center station with my back to the door. And I'm a righty, so I was holding my toothbrush with my right hand. And I was balancing myself with my left hand on the sink. I was just brushing my teeth. That's all I was doing.
And what happened?
And someone came up behind me and pulled my left hand away from the sink and twisted my arm and like jerked it behind my back, like reaching up toward my neck.
Okay.
And
Did it hurt?
yeah, it hurt.
Okay. What happened?
It hurt. And I said, "What are you doing?" And she's in the same breath that she did that with my arm, she said, "You're going to buy me commissary." I said, "I'm going to what?" And she said, "Unless you want those pretty white teeth knocked out of your mouth, you're going to buy me commissary." So I said, okay. And then she named a package that she wanted, and she's out. She was gone. She was just that fast.
Okay. How bad would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad would you rate the pain at the time that she did that to you?
Oh my God, it was a 10.
Okay.
I didn't know my arm could reach that far back.
Okay. And what did you do after she did that to you?
So kind of stood there for a minute, and then I just thought, okay, I'm gonna go back to my bunk. And I went back to my bunk and I got under the covers and I cried. I just stayed under my covers. I didn't come out.
Okay. During your entire time in the annex, did this particular inmate remain confined in that area with you?
She was in the annex the whole time.
Okay. And I know that you don't want to talk about who did this to you, because why? Why don't you want to disclose who it was?
There's one thing I've learned since I'm there is the word is snitch. You don't snitch. You don't tell on anyone because you'll be sorry you did. And
Okay, kind of ironic in light of what's happened today behind closed doors in the courtroom.
Right.
Is there a snitch that's going to roll over on Donna that'll be allowed to testify? Don't know. That's still up in the air. This is horrible. Whether she's guilty or not, it's horrible. And it's like a cliche, it seems to me. These jailhouse type stories, it just seems fake because it seems so conveniently cliche.
Except that they moved her out of this jail after this hearing, and there's cameras everywhere. All right, so they may have had a camera.
Could be. I know,
and they don't want to name the inmate here because that would put her
I get that.
in danger.
And they were in the annex, which again was, think of a portable classroom. So like one bigger room, 66 beds, all like bunk beds, all lined up, almost like military barracks. So yeah, who knows whether the annex had the same kind of camera coverage or not. And the COs care, this is, they just feel like they're, housing animals at the zoo. They don't, I don't see a lot of compassion in that system.
No.
So as disliked as Donna Adelson may be, I found somebody more interesting. Maybe not more interesting. And check the poll out on our community page. I asked.
Well, I know you have that lead in, but we just wanted to say to you, this is a primer of how Donna Adelson may be expected to testify. All right.
Yeah,
so with
her
that in
mannerisms,
mind,
her style, obviously there was a purpose behind this hearing. She did not get bond, shocking, but like you said, she did get moved, so maybe there was an indirect benefit. But very self-absorbed. She's had a good life, and to go into jail, like I said, she came to my house. The shock would be outrageous. So jail is a few times beyond that. At least I like to think so. Anyway, so over the weekend, this is where I blame and credit Jimmy. And so it's Sunday, and I'm like, dude, all week I'm juggling getting the practice in order, getting the JSTV stuff organized. I'd like to on the weekend maybe just pull some weeds or do some, do something in the yard. He's running on Sunday morning the full original interview that Wendy Adelson gave to the cops. It's like 4 hours long. Are you kidding me? And so, of course,
Auntie Deb is taking over our words tonight. He's taking over our minds.
He's all over it. I'm like, man, give me a break here. So I was in and out of it, and I hadn't watched it since 2019 was the first trial. That was the Sigfredo Garcia / Catherine Megalois trial, and this was done. This interview the day of the murder. I mean, within hours. So I'm watching this. It's bits and pieces. Then I hear this person talking, and I'm not really clear who it is. Turns out it's Wendy Adelson's friend, Jane. Okay. I just want to look at a little of this because I don't know if anybody will have the same reaction I did. But sometimes people are just interestingly unlikable. Is that a safe way to put it? Let me see if I can pull up just a touch of this and see if your reaction is similar to mine. And again, I do blame Jimmy for this.
Hi.
Jane has arrived.
Annie. Oh dear. Oh, Wendy. I really needed some help. I'm sorry. I needed to call you.
Okay, sweetie.
Did they tell you?
They didn't tell me. I know.
Are things on the news?
It is on the news, but I don't know anything. I know there was a shooting in Danny's block this morning. That's all I know.
That's all I know.
Oh dear, oh, honey. You know how he is.
He's not good, Jane.
Really.
I was driving up the street and I saw like the tape and I just thought, oh, maybe there's like an electrical outage or something. Like I saw the street blocked.
So
I was driving into town. I was running errands. I was meeting some friends for lunch and I drove up Trescott because it's the shortcut. And so I drive up Trescott and I see the tape and I was like, I guess there was like an electrical outage because sometimes we'd have trees that would fall or whatever. And so I turned around and didn't think anything of it. I was at lunch with two friends and the officer shows up. And I've been here since then.
And you don't have a phone?
Well, I had a phone. I said you could search my phone because maybe they can like find something useful on it.
We have to go through a lot of these steps, and that's
Of course,
explaining to her. It's just as much effort to go through the steps to exclude anybody that could possibly be
Well,
involved.
of course, yeah.
So we have her phone. As soon as it's taking a little bit longer than normal, and as soon as we get done with the phone, she'll get it back.
Yeah.
So the main thing I was concerned about is the kids need to be picked up
Well,
on
exactly.
Friday.
Right. And so when I came and they said they'd spoken to the Grossmans,
Yeah.
I was like, I'll get the kids. I'm a
Right.
social worker. I picked up kids that don't know me before, but I
Right.
think
I said-
especially given
I
this.
gave them your name and Lynn's name and
Right.
said, I think like Alan and Lynn have done it. Like when Danny had his back surgery, Alan and Lynn did it before. So, because I was out
Right.
of town,
And
so
they
like
have, right.
they've
they
done
have.
it before. They've got 4 kids, so they can.
I have, you're gonna be here for a while. You want me to
I think
sit?
so.
So like I might have a blanket in my car or something.
Do we have anything
Do you have
here, or have they all been
something for
used?
somebody who could get?
Let me check.
This
see
woman
that
is
one is good enough for
freezing.
her.
And I apologize, I thought about that when she was shivering earlier, but I guess got a lot of stuff going
No,
on.
there's certainly there's
It's
a
not
there's
really
a
the most
it
important
isn't
thing
it's
right now.
not the most important
No,
thing.
I saw her shivering and I kept thinking I'll go out and find out if they had a bunch of them. They had a bunch of them, but I don't know what's still available.
So what do you mean he's not good? What do you know about this?
I don't think he's gonna make it.
Oh my god.
Really?
Oh, you-
I don't know how I'm gonna tell the kids.
Let's put that on.
That would be great. Thank you. You really don't do that? You know that?
What's that? I'm sorry.
You know that they don't think he's gonna make it through this? Oh, really?
He's not gonna make it.
And he's a TMH right now?
Mhm.
And I was asking because I thought maybe he would, and I wanted I wanted the kids to be with him if like he was okay.
Okay.
Notice they haven't told her he's died already. We don't think he's going to make it. You don't think?
Yeah,
he's
they
going
pretty
to
well
make
layered
it.
that. Yeah, that's not a big shocker. Anyway.
Oh God.
And he has family and stuff in Houston or something?
They don't have
No.
any family here.
No, it's-
Right, I know, but I mean,
There's no family here.
They don't.
girlfriend, anybody come down, nothing?
Amy, I don't know if Amy knows yet. I don't have Amy's phone number.
Amy's on
Oh.
Facebook.
I'll contact her later.
She's on Facebook. I mean, she can be found.
Yeah. I was thinking of one more thing. This is really tangential, but his friend I told you about, Matt Price,
Right.
his wife's brother was killed. So if you're gonna call someone first, Matt's gonna lose it. So
I don't intend on calling Matt. I just need
Okay.
to have the background on different associates and friends and so
yeah,
forth. You know, my objective is to find out who did this. So based on what you've told me, I'm gonna take that information, compile it with other information that other investigators have worked on, and we'll see where it leads.
okay.
So Ace's Cat points
I'm not
out that
saying anybody
he was still
that
alive.
that you told me.
What's that?
Well, Ace's Cat points out he was still alive, but they knew that he wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you ever heard
the
the
next day.
neighbor testify, which is gruesome, yeah, there was some movement after the shot, but it was not going to be getting better.
About is anyway involved.
Is there
I
any
don't know.
sign of stuff being stolen from the house?
I can't discuss that.
Okay.
So,
But you are discussing that you don't think he's gonna live. I mean,
I'm telling you a fact that I know. He's not gonna live. He's not gonna live. Okay. So,
is he dead now?
well, I already discussed that with her. He has enough injury that's traumatic enough that he's not gonna be able to recover from it.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Did Lynn already go get the boys?
Yes.
What's happening right now is Lynn's on her way here. She doesn't have car seats. Gonna take the car seats out of your van, put them in Lynn's vehicle, and she's gonna go directly to Creative Preschool,
She has a key to my house, so she can.
pick up the kids. If I get a chance to, when she arrives, I will talk to her briefly and basically tell her, you know, let's wait on discussing anything with the children.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would do that anyway.
Yeah. I wonder if it would be better if she didn't know. Like if you
It's,
That's
I mean.
just so
here's-
that because she's gonna be done. Like, what if she can't then drive and go get the boys? Like,
Okay, but let me just say to you, I didn't know anything when I came here. So my husband Googles and says there was a shooting on Trescott Drive this morning at 11.
I got a call from
So-
my real estate agent who heard something.
So I know that I didn't know why I was coming here, but anybody with more sense would have known that.
John told you that
Yes.
when you told him you were coming here? Or?
No, they found John.
Mhm.
Interestingly, they found John's cell phone number.
They found me eating lunch. I don't know how that happened. I'm fascinated still.
And
They have ways of finding.
yeah, it's interesting. So they called my husband's cell phone, and he's like, here she is. Talk to her, and they said you needed me at the police department, so I came.
Right.
It was not a.
What did you think I needed you for?
I wasn't thinking it was good news, but I didn't. My thought was that Danny had probably assaulted you. That was my
I
thought.
think that was Lisa's thought when she's like, I heard there was a shot on Trescott,
So-
and so I hope you're okay.
So that.
Realtor.
Yeah.
So that was my, but this scenario, which is now not seeming real to me,
Yeah,
didn't
well, me
seem
neither.
like was not what I
Me neither.
what I
but
thought
keep-
of.
I just keep picturing the kids.
Right. No. So there's no point in doing that. Don't do that. So
When Lynn gets here, I'm gonna just ask her to take the kids to her house. Would that be
Instead of my
reasonable?
house?
I think
Would that
that's
be
much
more
better.
reasonable?
Is that better? She has a TV. They can
Yeah,
watch TV.
yeah,
I know, but they've
Yes.
been there before.
A
Yeah.
bunch.
Yeah,
they're
take them
very
there.
comfortable there.
Do they
Take them
have
there.
children of their own?
They've got 4 kids. They're grown, but
take them there. Take them
okay,
there.
yeah,
Because,
I'm gonna go make sure that I don't miss her.
okay.
thank you.
Lynn Grossman, right?
Mhm. Oh, this is Sarah, by the way.
Hi, sir. Are you a victim advocate? I am.
I said you used to be a victim advocate. Was I
That's
right?
not true. Yeah, I've done lots of stuff like that.
I recognize your name, and then she explained.
What's your last name?
Latour. I've only been here about 2.5 years.
I am losing my shit.
Well, that would be appropriate. I think you should do that. I think if you don't do that, that's
Jane,
not right.
who would have done this?
I have just
And
one
are they
idea.
going to come after my kids? Or me? Who's next?
Is Jeff this much of a lunatic?
I don't even think of Jeff. I hope to God not.
Let me ask who Jeff is.
Yeah, of
Yeah, I
course.
think you should. I think Wendy's been seeing a guy called Jeff,
Who's a friend of
Yes.
Jane's. And
but who's jealous.
yeah.
Are you
Whoa.
still currently seeing him, or just something you kind of
Ugh,
let taper off?
it's been a bad week.
Okay.
Yeah, Jane and I actually went for a walk together.
Oh,
Monday,
blaming
Tuesday?
Jeff.
Jane.
Oh,
Early this week.
Earlier this week, but you've taken a 1 week break from
I took
Jeff.
a 1 week break from communication with Jeff to figure out what to do.
Okay.
Because we've been dating for like
A year.
9 months, so like 10 months a year.
And when you use the word dating to you, that's my boyfriend, or is it more of just dating, like the casual? Okay.
Yeah.
No, like he was my boyfriend and involved with the kids, and I mean, yeah. And we had kind of a fight recently, and he's been trying to get back together, and I didn't know if I wanted to, and so he actually, the morning that I gave that talk, my boys were there and Jeff was watching them, so I could give the talk. Like Jane, do you think I have to tell them about him?
I think you
guess.
have to tell them about him because that is the only
Jane.
God forbid.
the only thing that I can imagine related to you, related to Danny. would be
The only
Jeff.
thing I could come up with was like his girlfriend Amy is recently divorced, separated, not really divorced. Like,
Sure. So
what if-
either of those people.
like the jealous boyfriend types, like what if the ex-husband?
Right, totally. And you know that this divorce has been very stressful, and Jeff has been very stressed out by the stressfulness of your divorce.
oh,
Um,
Jeff, did you see
Okay,
this?
Jane.
Did they show this to Jeff before he testified? I guess he must have seen it by now.
Well, by now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Whether it was before the first time or not, who knows?
Yeah.
But Jane, I wish I had time to watch more. I highly recommend anybody just watch the next 10, 15 minutes of this, starting at about 5:22 when you find this video, because it is amazing the degree to which Jane steers the cops and Wendy to the Jeff story. And now for
Yeah.
those who have seen Jeff testify,
And Amy, and somebody named Amy.
well, Amy was the new girlfriend of Danny,
Right, but they're
and
steering
she
into
had an
him.
ex. So,
The jealous exes.
but no,
You know
Jane,
what? I
Jane is
wanna
a regular Clouseau.
I want to continue this on Wednesday. Yeah,
We can do that. We
Yeah,
can pick
because
this up.
this is really interesting. You know, they started laughing, and then she was crying when she thought that something terrible had happened, but then he he's not going to make it, and then she stops crying. She stops crying when he's not going to make it. You notice
There's,
that?
people are always, criticizing this kind of, reaction. Is that how, how do you react? Is this legit? Is it fake?
That's
Is it
true,
part
and that's true. You don't know.
You just don't know. But there
You
are a
don't
lot of
know.
things that she does that seem a little odd for somebody in that position. And she talks about the route she took. Remember the whole
Right.
stalk
A
the bar
shortcut.
party. I'm going to
Right.
do that little journey when I'm down there. A couple of folks have done it, but till I've done it, I mean, come on. I got to go do it. I'm going to go through the neighborhood, go to ABC Liquor, go to the restaurant, kind of reconnoiter that whole area, and I'll videotape
Check out
those.
to see if they have the bourbon that she wanted.
Well, I don't know if was it Bullet Bourbon. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Is that what it was? Which is actually
right?
interesting because that's a much bigger brand now than it was 11 years ago.
Well, why don't we check to see if they carried it? Maybe the store will know if they really carried it then, right?
I guess I could do some research when I'm there.
We can actually spend the fund, JSTV funds. We're going to have to get donations and spend the
funds. Spend it on some bourbon?
To buy a Bullet Bourbon, right?
Okay, if I have to sample some of it, that's just part of the job. Okay, I want to mention Oasis Cat had a couple of points here. Yeah, he was technically alive, but he was brain dead. So they were keeping him alive while they were trying to figure out what the plan was. They wanted to get a rabbi to the hospital, et cetera, et cetera.
His parents.
And they were flying up from the south. Everybody was in Fort Lauderdale / Miami. He's 7-8 hour drive, so they were going to fly up. Anyway, we just want to give you a sense of two things today. Number one, Donna Adelson on the stand, because we fully expect that's going to happen. And then the Wendy interview, which just enlightened me to Jane. I would love to see Jane on the stand. She is very happy with herself and very helpful. Jane.
Do you think that Jane and Jeff will come on after this trial?
I think Jeff will definitely.
And Jeff is fabulous. I mean,
and you should know, that people are wondering: is Charlie going to take the stand? Is he going to take the fifth? He's been relocated. He's now at the Leon County Jail from somewhere. I think he's in North Dakota. Is where he's doing his time.
Right.
Guess who else has just parachuted into town? Catherine McBenoit. She's now also poised for testimony. So, we'll see. We'll see who actually testifies, who just needs to be there just in case, because you don't want to be hung out if something comes up and you definitely want somebody that you weren't sure about. A judge, can we get a couple of days to get them here? No, you can't. We've kind of known about this for a while.
Jury selection tomorrow. They could have openings as soon as Friday. We will be down there on Monday. But we will be streaming if they have openings. I think I have another obligation on Friday, but you'll be streaming.
Yeah, we'll work it out. We'll do whatever we need to do, and we're going all Adelson all the time.
All Adelson for the
continue
next
to cover
weeks.
as the Adelsons turn on one another. Okay, partner, good job. I will guess we'll do something again tomorrow. Oh yeah, we got Michael Easter on. That's right.
We have Michael Easter, and we have to ask you all to please hit that subscribe, like, share, and notify button. If you're in the chat, you have all these people in the chat, all these people watching, just hit it, move that needle for us.
Little finger exercises.
Just move that needle for us. But yes, good egg Easter will be on, and the Adelsons will still be turning, and Wendy's still going to be wondering.
And we'll have a jury update. Maybe they'll have a couple of in the pool by then. Who knows?
Yep.
All right.
And we'll ask, in the meantime, once this comes up and we'll repost this, I'm going to say to Jimmy, I'm going to text or tweet to Jimmy or X to Jimmy or post to Jimmy, look what you're responsible for.
That's right. It is his fault. Damn it. I was trying to take a day off. Okay. See you next time. In the meantime, Michael Bryant here. Try to do the right thing.